Hey, welcome back to Living Box Free. I'm Ashleyne Seitz.
And I'm Becky Ford.
Guys, I realized last night, I don't even know why it took me so long, but last night that this is our 2-year anniversary. 2 years ago, when this episode is coming out on Monday, was our introduction to Becky and Ashleyne episode.
Woohoo!
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't even realize that. So when you say, I can't believe I didn't realize it till last night, thanks for realizing that.
You're welcome.
That is incredible. 2 years. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It does not.
Yeah.
But also I feel like we've put out 1,000 episodes. So it also does feel like it's been that long. But Today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what the last 2 years have been. And then we're going to answer some questions. And I'm so excited. We have not prepared for this at all, with one exception, which I will explain. And I think it's going to be a ton of fun. So first, Becky, what's on the rise for you this week?
What's on the rise for me this week includes smelly markers.
Okay.
Mr. Sketch smelly markers. You can see them on my floor over there.
Oh, I see.
They are the best markers you can use on posters. And this is the first team retreat I get to facilitate in person, which is super exciting. And also I've realized, wow, this is so much more work than just like slides and Zoom and all this stuff. I actually have posters and markers and Post-its and fun things. So I'm really excited to get to be with people face to face and feel that presence, which is definitely unmatchable compared to virtual. Mm-hmm. But yes, lots of smelly markers. They're always a big hit too. Adults love it too. Nothing like a good grape smell while you're writing.
Grape, watermelon. What are the other options?
Let's see. Yeah, watermelon. I think there's a cherry. I think yellow's banana. I'm pretty sure. Ooh. I was like, was that a ooh?
No, that was like I think fake banana is like real weird.
Like fake banana candy?
Yes. And smell. And it's very strange.
Yeah. I'll keep that marker away from you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What's on the rise for you this week?
Sleep. We are finally post-Easter and I am catching up on sleep and it's been great. The funny thing is that my Whoop told me I got 93% of my sleep last week, or average 93, but I think there were a couple of 50% days or 60% days or something that, and then a couple of 95% days. And, it was just odd. But
I did see you commented in our Whoop group.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Because it was 93%. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. But, averages.
Yeah.
So, catching up on sleep. And I'm very grateful for that.
Good. You've earned it.
Thank you.
An early bedtime, sleeping in. And Ash made breakfast twice this week.
Twice. 2 days in a row, guys.
Woohoo.
I've made breakfast, which gives you an early hint toward the answer to one of the questions. But let's start with a couple of questions just about the podcast, those kinds of things. First, Becky, in case there are people who only listen to Living Box Free and don't understand why we talk about what's on the rise for you this week, what is on the rise?
Excellent question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I spent a minute on it.
Yeah. On the rise, which you'll see is a part of our social media handles, that is actually our business name. When Ash and I first found that we had this shared connection and love of people development, leadership, and also just some shared goals, we decided to start On the Rise as a business. We did that the end of 2019. It was December of 2019. We had no clue that the pandemic was about to happen. And at that point in time, our thought process was doing workshops and keynotes and really getting out there, which obviously the pandemic threw a big hurdle in that. But that's the only reason we have a podcast. Mm-hmm. If we wouldn't have had the pandemic, I don't think we'd have a podcast right now, because that was our alternative route. Just like anything, you have a great plan until a pandemic happens.
Until people show up.
With COVID. And then you have to change gears.
Yeah.
So we decided to not brand our podcast the same, to do a different brand. So that's where there's that difference between our business On the Rise, which we still do, and we're expanding our leadership coaching and consulting there, and then the podcast, which is a little bit of a separate service.
Yes. And I, as the digital media nerd, was like, On the Rise is not great for search engine optimization because those are all very common words, but Living Box Free is better for search engine optimization. So that's what we should call our podcast.
Yes. I thought you were going to say, I, the digital guru.
Oh, no.
Should decide. But yes, that was very Smart of you. A strategic move.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And why? Well, I guess I already kind of said this, but anything you want to add to why we started Living Box Free?
No, I think that's great. I think a lot of the content that we were hoping to talk about with people and coach people through, we get to talk about on here. So I love that it happened. I think a little bit different from you. I think we might have ended up here eventually anyway, but it did give us the boost to get going.
And how did we choose the name Living Box Free?
Ooh, because we believe that there is no one way to live a healthy life.
That sounded like such a good announcer voice. There is no one way to live a healthy life.
That's my commercial voice.
That was good.
Thank
yeah. And the more I learn about coaching, life coaching, professional coaching, the more that mantra stands out to me, because in that coaching role, it's not about telling people this is what I did, you need to do it. It's about coaching people and saying, okay, what worked for me might not work for you because we're totally different people. Let's work through what are the best options for you. So it's really cool because Living Box Free was something we came up with 2 years ago. And today it just stands out, and the value behind that stands out even so much more to me after going through coaching courses and starting that process.
Yeah. But living outside the box was too long, so we made it Living Box Free. All right, Becky, what's something you've learned along the way as we've done this podcast, or just in running On the Rise?
2 things stand out. One, there's something about, without even like knowing you're doing it, that something about like continual development and investment. And when we started this podcast, I saw it as a tool to grow our audience as we're launching this On the Rise business. What I didn't realize then that I've learned now is this weekly podcast has probably been the biggest accelerator of my development and my reflection as a person, as a leader, as a wife, as a mom, as all those things. And I mean, it's hard for me to list the number of things I've learned because I've learned so much, especially when we have guests come on.
Yeah.
I think about Jim Bishop. I think about Jeff Allman. I mean, so many people who've come on and shared just really cool leadership lessons and tools, but then also just even the people who've been on here and have been so vulnerable and shared some of their struggles. That has also taught me the power of vulnerability. Yeah. And it's very hard to put yourself out there. And I see this as putting ourselves out there. You know, people could listen to this podcast and be like, oh, they sound horrible.
You guys are idiots.
Yeah, they could. And in life, it's not worth holding back because you're worried about what every person thinks about. So that was my very long-winded extrovert way of thinking out loud to say,
I liked it.
Biggest thing I've learned is the power of thinking about these things on a weekly basis, learning from other people. I don't think I'd have this practice of like taking an hour. I mean, really, it's probably 2 hours prep and then podcasting to talk about different relevant leadership topics and relevant people challenges. And so I've learned so much from people, from research, from listening to you, Ash. So that was my really big answer to that question. Hopefully you can be more concise than me. What is something you've learned so far? This is what happens when I don't prepare. I talk out loud. I think out loud.
Interestingly, I think my answer is that people, at least in our culture right now, people don't want super formal or super prepared. I mean, they want you to be knowledgeable, but what the things we've gotten the best reactions to, and people have said, you know, this is the most helpful, are the vulnerable things and the things that we just come in and we're like, I don't know, guys, what do you think? Or the videos we throw up of me on my front porch just having taken a shower, my hair's all over the place. Like the things that we clearly have not put time into making it look good, but we have put time into the content. Those are the things that seem to really resonate with people. So I would say it's similar, that vulnerability piece of here I am, as this is just me on a Friday. Yeah, you get what you get. So that's my answer.
It probably helps illuminate the Living Box Free. We're like, this is just who I am after a shower.
Yeah.
Or most of the time for me.
After the gym.
After the gym, yeah. I haven't showered yet.
Yeah.
But I do shower.
My hair is already in my little gym samurai bun.
Oh, yes. Oh, it makes me think we're not your, what'd we say? We're not your, we're ninjas.
We're not your, We're fellow ninjas. We're
Fellow
not your
ninjas.
sensei.
Yes.
Okay, why don't we do best part, worst part real quick, because I'm worried we won't have time to get to all the questions, because there were quite a few.
Best part, and this is about the podcast
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
Honestly, best part's this is going to sound so cheesy, getting to spend time with Ash. I don't know. I love this. To me is so much more than work. Like, this isn't a job. It's fun.
Yeah.
And getting to spend time with Ash. Like I said, I learn a lot from you. And when we're in the gym, there's a lot of people and we have fun, and it's like recess. Yes, CrossFit's like recess to me. But this is like a more intimate, like I get to channel some deep thinking and creativity. Like, this probably is the most creative outlet that I have. Obviously, I do a lot of creative stuff at work, but a lot of it's repetitive, whereas this is like new things every week, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say best part. Worst part is probably just the time. Like, time is our most valuable commodity, and over again, even today, I was texting some folks. I was supposed to go out to dinner with a couple girlfriends, and my babysitter fell through, and so I just said, hey, I can't do it because my husband works late every Friday night.
Right.
And, time is just, you never have enough. And I know that we would love to spend more time brainstorming, being creative, more time marketing, getting out there. But we're doing what we can with what time we have and using it the best of our ability. And someday maybe we'll have more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My answers are pretty similar. I mean, I do love spending time with you. And I think that brainstorming and that thinking through, okay, how can we help people? How can we help people be their best selves, their healthiest selves? I think that just gets me fired up, and that's so fun. And in contrast to that, the day in, day out work of editing the podcast, of putting up the social media. And it's so worth it, and I'm happy to do it, but it also, like you said about your other work, it doesn't change. And so I think that in terms of people, everyone has their own healthy or way to live a healthy life and living box free. Like, the actual behind the scenes stuff, it does not have its own path every time. Like, it's always the same. So that's what I'm less passionate about, but worth it.
Yeah. Maybe we need an intern.
Yeah, maybe we do.
2 years. We've been here for 2 years. Maybe
We're
we
an
need
established
yes,
organization
who's willing to do the monotonous work for free. And we will do some outdoor workouts with you.
We will write you glowing recommendations.
Recommendation letters. Okay, so now we're going into questions.
All right. We are just going to answer these, or ask these and answer these in the order that they were asked.
Awesome.
So I'm not curating, because I don't even have time for that.
Yes.
All right. So we're starting off with a real good one. What's your worst fear? This is from Holly. What's your worst fear in a professional environment?
The first thing that comes to my mind, and I've already kind of started to overcome that, but for me, becoming a mom was a big fear. And I know that we did an episode on unconscious bias, and just that fear of people not feeling like I'm as committed to work because I have a child. And so for me, that was a huge fear that I've already really overcome. And, just really recognizing, like, men have children too, and people take them seriously.
Yeah.
But I would say just kind of that reoccurring theme of, I want to be a great employee. I want to do new things and be challenged. And just hoping that people can see that and those new opportunities come. I guess a lot of my fears I've probably tackled so far.
Which is great.
Yeah. I mean, I was reallocated, is what they call it at Elanco before, which is where they cut your position. You have to find another job within so many days. Like, that was a huge fear.
Oh, yeah.
But I've gone through that. And now anytime I go through one of those difficult moments, my threshold for what I can handle is higher.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm saying I've gone through a lot of...
You've just been forced to deal with your fears.
Yeah. So really just kind of that, being a working mom, that's probably my biggest fear, just hoping people take me seriously. But then I can also be a great mom and a great employee at the same time. What about you?
Mine, and I am facing it, but also still in it. I think it's being misunderstood. And I have a lot of feelings about work, and I want to do a good job, not just because I want to be seen as someone who does a good job, but because I genuinely care about my job and doing it well. And the thing I've been telling my coworkers lately is, if you tell me what your goal is or what your dream is, I can help you find the best way to accomplish your dream. I mean, it's similar to the On the Rise concept in Living Box Free. Like, I want to help your dreams come true. And if you don't give me enough warning, or you don't tell me what your dream is, you just give me like the layout out of how you think it should go, then I'm going to be frustrated because I don't feel like I can make your dreams come true. Mm-hmm. But I could have, if we'd started out in the right place. And a prime example of that happened yesterday, and I got so frustrated, and I feel like it comes across as like, I don't want to do what you're telling me to do, which is kind of true, but it's not, because I'm like, you're telling me to do something and I don't want to do it. It's like, we are not set up for success to make this dream come true. And that's frustrating to me.
Big takeaway. Ash can make your dreams come true.
Yes.
If
you give
you
me
properly
time
prepare.
and you tell me what your dream is on the front end instead of on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine lots of people in the workplace can relate to that.
Yeah. But it feels like I come across as insubordinate or disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't like that. That is my worst fear, for someone to be like,
good self-awareness.
You are a jerk. Okay, moving on. Favorite, this is from Tiffany. Several of our questions are from Tiffany. She asks good questions. Ooh. Favorite accomplishment of adulthood, and what are you most proud of? Or what are you most proud of?
Do you have yours?
I think starting this business probably would be very high on the list. I don't know if that is the top, but it's the first thing that comes to mind for me. Mm-hmm. I remember the first day we did launch an episode, I was so nervous.
Aww.
The day that we made the the LLC, that was like, okay, we're doing this. Yes. So making it happen, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's super cool because I don't think I would have done a podcast without you. And, so a lot of things, having that partner in crime makes it easier to be outside your comfort zone and do those things. My biggest accomplishment, such a big question, Tiffany. The thing that comes to my mind, and I'm trying to think how to phrase it, it is doing the things I love, feeling like I am being a good mom, spouse, and being happy. I know it sounds so silly. My husband said the other day, which is ironic because I did get angry the other day, but he, like a couple weeks ago, he's like, Becky just never gets upset. She never gets upset. And if she does, you don't want to see it, which I did recently.
But we all do.
It happens like once or twice a year. But like, to his point, I have a job I love at Elanco. I love what we do with On the Rise. I love our gym community, that business that, I've been a big part of. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, and time management. I think I've just gotten better and better at it. I talked about, you never have enough time, but I do look ahead and prioritize. So I'm able to achieve the work in these different realms and still have enough time to renew myself and truly be happy. And I'm just, I think instead of having to say I have to do this or that, I'm doing this, this, and this. And I still feel happy and like I have a good family structure. Yeah. So that would be awesome. Mine.
Cool. All right. Also from Tiffany, what are your favorite books? So let's do 2 out of your top 5.
Excellent.
Do you need to think about that? Because I can go.
I've got, oh gosh, I know one. Oh, it's so hard. Okay. I'll say 2, but it's really hard. This is a hard question, Tiffany.
This is a hard question.
My very favorite book I fell in love with in college was called Stimulated by Andrew Peck, and it is about the 5 habits of creativity. Ooh, okay. You can tell that I love creativity. It's such a kinesthetic book. It has quotes and like colors. So I love that book. Yeah. It's an older one. So I was in college. It was the first book I just like fell in love with. I actually emailed the author and had a phone call with them because they called me, which was so cool. I just loved it that much. So that's one of them. Oh gosh, there's so many, but I'm going to say the second one's probably The Purpose-Driven Life. Mm-hmm. And that's also something early on If you've not read The Purpose-Driven Life, it's a Christian-based book, and it has reflection and journaling included in it. And that definitely helped me with laying some foundations early on with how I interact with the world, what I think about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, that was a hard one. All right, what about you?
Guys, we are so different. It's hilarious. My top 2 favorite books are Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's a classic. They're the characters are my friends. I can just go back to it whenever I need to spend time with my friends, and I know what's going to happen. And Water from My Heart, which is by Charles Martin, and it's another novel, and it's about like a redemptive story arc, and the main character is a drug dealer. I mean, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. They travel to Latin America. Anyway, I'd recommend it. Water from My Heart.
I mean, those
Novels.
are basically the same.
Yeah,
Creativity
absolutely.
habits, drug dealer. Yeah.
Totally the same. All right. From a different Tiffany,
Oh,
favorite topic thus far?
that's so hard. It's hard not to think of the most recent ones.
I know.
I'm trying to think back.
When I realized it was our 2nd anniversary, I scrolled back and I was like, I don't even remember doing that episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I believe it.
We did an episode on insecurity, apparently, which I forgot about. But then once I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, I think that was cool to talk through the kinds of insecurity, because I don't think we don't think about that. We just feel insecure, and we don't necessarily work through what kind of insecurity is this? Am I insecure about my body? Am I insecure about what people think, my relationships? So I thought that was a cool episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've kind of loved. There have been very few that I have not loved.
Yeah. I know it's so tough. I'm just going to choose. It's a more recent one, but the one on mentoring with Jeff.
Oh yeah.
I
was
really
really cool.
loved. He shared some really good nuggets like PhD, Poor, Hungry, and Driven. And I do think mentoring is just a hot topic, at least with a lot of people I work with. So that would be a recent one. Throwback, maybe emotional intelligence. I think that's always fun. I remember after we aired, I think we had 2 because it was so long. We had to break it in half. The emotional intelligence. I remember having a call with a past FFA state officer who listened to it and was just like, we're geeking out.
Yeah.
So that would be probably a throwback one I really like.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Also from that, Tiffany, was there an episode that you were nervous about recording, and why? And I can definitely answer this. Well, the first episode we recorded, I was nervous because I was like, I don't know how to do this. But then the episode on my journey through depression, I was nervous about, not because I felt, and I think I've said this before, not because I felt, I mean, it was being vulnerable, but I didn't feel insecure about sharing it, because if you're around me, I talk about my depression. I'm fine with that. I was afraid of saying something that would invalidate someone else's depression or make their life harder. And I was very nervous about that. And you can tell if you go back and listen to the episode, I'm like,
I remember that very clearly.
rough.
You were
I kind of want to do it again and just like say the exact same words, but read them calmly.
Then you're going to go like switch them out.
Yeah. Anyway, what about you? Nervous?
I mean, the first one that popped into my mind was the eating disorders one.
Oh, yeah.
And somewhat similar. For me, I think the bigger fear was when you talk about the past. And I know I talked about some ways I was raised and like habits, things I saw from my mom who was going through Weight Watchers and telling us girls, you should do Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous because I don't want those people who I love in my life to think that they caused this big issue. But at the same time, you're like, this was a moment that influenced how I saw myself. Yeah. So that was probably where I was the most nervous, more so when you do talk about people you love in those scenarios. You don't ever want them to feel bad. But at the same time, like being vulnerable and sharing, like, yeah, that's the first time I was like, oh, am I fat?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that one for me.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, from Lauren. What is a guilty pleasure you have that many people know about?
That many people know about?
Yeah. I think maybe she meant not many people know about.
I was going to say bar nanas is mine then, because we talk about it all the time.
We talk about it all the time, or reality TV for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, she meant to say not many people know about. And you have to be pretty good friends with me to know that I'm a Carrie Underwood fan, because I just don't feel like defending my opinion.
Yeah.
She's my favorite artist, and I don't usually, but here's the thing. I don't really really believe in guilty pleasures because if you enjoy it, why do you feel guilty about it?
Yeah.
Like, if you enjoy something, I mean, unless it's harmful to another human being, that's a different situation. But I'm like, just embrace it. Just be who you are. But I don't necessarily tell a lot of people, but I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give a sermon there.
No, that's good. I can't really think of too much. I feel like we talk about all of those things. If I stick to the music theme, I definitely listen to some music with really bad words that pumps me up for the gym. And then it's hard when I go to the gym and I've got my kiddo with me because then I'm like, Old MacDonald. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not in the mood to work out anymore because I like super like. And Tristan's like, oh my gosh, do you even know what these words are? I'm like, no, but I love the beat.
Don't worry, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Okay. So that I guess that's mine. I listen to some music that might not be, it's definitely not rated PG.
Yeah.
Because it gets me pumped up.
All right. Okay, Becky, truth or dare?
Dare.
Dare. Okay, I dare you to sing your favorite song.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Hold on.
I'll give you a moment.
I want to sing Chimbala, but now I can't remember the Spanish words for it. Balamueme boom, balamueme boom. I'm not saying it right.
That was good. Keep going. That was good.
It's like I have to play the song to remember the words because it's all in Spanish. No, I don't know.
There you go. That was great.
I got to play
Good job.
Okay, so do I get to do this to you now?
Yes.
Truth or dare?
Well, I feel like I should take truth because you took dare and it's the same question.
Okay. Ooh, I don't know if I can ask this. It might be too risque. Truth. Where do you want to be in 3 years?
3 years. That's surprisingly short for you. I think working with you, that's a pretty easy answer. So that doesn't feel super vulnerable. I mean, gosh, people should know by now we want to write a book. I want to write books. So having published my first book, that's where I want to be.
Ooh, in 3 years.
In 3 years.
That's great to know. We should probably find more time.
Yes, probably. Speaking of time, we are running out of it. Okay, here we go. Actually, Bran wants to know what are our career goals.
Real fast, my number one career goal, I am in that job now. I love it. I really don't know where else I'd want to be within a corporation besides what I'm doing. So that's really good. But the other major career goal is growing on the rise and specifically the coaching side. So I have a couple coaching clients outside of my work and would love to grow that part.
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest one.
I mean, the same for me. I would say on the rise stuff, coaching. If I got to do some creative coaching as well, whether that's, marketing or whatever, I think that would be a blast. So coaching and consulting and writing. Yes. Those are my career goals. I've never been a titles person. I've never been like, I want to rule the world.
Yeah.
But to move into those places that I enjoy would be great. Okay. From Lauren. What would the title of your book be if written by your worst enemy? I love how these questions tie together.
They're also negative. They're like, what's your secret guilty pleasure? Except she said, what's something? I think she phrased it differently than what she meant.
Yes.
Okay, if our enemy wrote it.
Because I feel like these questions go together because my worst professional fear ties in with this. I think if my worst enemy wrote it, it would be like, she seemed nice.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think who my worst enemy would be.
I didn't have a particular person in mind.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. This is a hard one, Lauren. So bubbly annoys the hell out of me. I don't know. That's like the first thing that pops in my mind.
That works. We'll take it. We'll accept it. All right, Bran again. Who is your favorite guest on the podcast? That is so tough. Bran,
it is.
You stinker.
I will say Tiffany, who came on to talk about her journey with addiction. People couldn't see it except for the people in the room, but she made me cry. It was just like talk about vulnerability and just she is such a funny, caring person. I'm grateful that she came on and shared her story, and it made me made me really sad in that moment to hear, the period in her life where she was, wondering if she still wanted to be here on Earth or not. So I'm going to say Tiffany.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to agree, but I feel like we've had so many good ones. We've had so many educational ones, but I do think that the ones that stand out to me are the vulnerable ones, the people who shared really their story, their experience. And I think Lee Hill was one of those.
Yes.
If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and do that. It was really great.
Respecting your body.
Yes. Also from Bran, when can I come on the podcast? LOL.
Maybe we should do like I love that. Maybe we should do like a Memorial Day one or something with Bran.
Yeah. Okay, Bran, you just roped yourself in. So
it could be about like a day in the life in the military.
Better prepare.
You better prepare.
You better be ready. All right. Let's see. Lauren wants to know why you guys are so friggin' awesome. I feel like that's a rhetorical question, but feel free to answer, Becky, if you'd like to.
Maybe because we don't take life too seriously.
There it is. All right. She also wants to know, what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
I mean, first thing that popped in my head is stop caring about what other people think.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing. What about you?
I think calm down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's okay. Just calm down.
Yeah. It'll all work out.
It's all right. It's not great. The next 10 years of your life are not going to be great, but just calm down. You can't fix it. So, yep. Okay. From Tiffany, what are your go-to meals throughout the week, and do you meal prep? Yes, I meal prep, but poorly. So clearly, as I made breakfast 2 days in a row, I am just not super consistent at meal prepping, but I do have a couple of go-to meals. I usually make like chicken stir fry. Not usually. I sometimes make chicken stir fry. Eat a lot of grilled chicken. And then I do what I call sloppy joe bowls. So it's basically ground beef, like sloppy joe dressing-ish, and then over rice. It's really easy.
It's super yummy.
And then my roommate makes a lot of burrito bowls, which I eat when I eat her meal prep.
Thanks.
Thank you. What about you?
My answer is yes. I usually meal prep on Sundays, and then again, usually whether it's Wednesday night or Thursday. So it's not always, it's never enough to get me through the whole week. I eat a lot of, my breakfast and lunch is always the same. 2 eggs, cup of egg whites, chicken bacon, oatmeal for breakfast. Lunch, every lunch, it's lean ground beef. I do barbecue sauce with some shredded cheese, potatoes, and usually Brussels sprouts. Could be a different vegetable, so some type of vegetable. My dinner is where I usually will make some things in bulk. My lunches I have measured out exactly in my breakfast, but dinner, since I'm at home, we'll just have like some bulk stuff and measure out what I want.
Yeah.
I usually will do some Chex cereal at night as my treat.
Becky's body is a machine. That's what I'm hearing here.
A machine?
Yeah, you eat exactly the same thing every day. It's very impressive.
It's not necessarily good. Like, variety's good.
Yeah, but it's still impressive.
I'm boring.
Trust me on this one. Okay, Lilac Kitchen would like to know, dream guest for the podcast.
Brene Brown.
Oh, well, I can't top that. No! I think someone, I've been thinking about messaging a couple of professional athletes and asking if they'd be willing to talk about their recovery journey. I think something, hearing from athletes on getting injured or having mental health issues and then coming back from that, I think that would be fascinating. So I don't know that that's one specific, I have a couple in mind, but it's not one specific athlete or person, but just finding someone to talk about that, I think would be really interesting.
Yep.
But yes, I agree. Brene Brown. Okay. Also, Lilac Kitchen, funniest oops moments.
On the podcast?
I'm not necessarily.
Peeing my pants while working out?
Was that funny per se?
No.
Or just embarrassing?
No, okay.
For you.
I guess that wasn't funny.
You were embarrassed.
Yeah.
You didn't need to be.
I was more frustrated.
Yeah.
Funniest oops moments. Man. Maybe when we tried to do that lemon video.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if we posted that yet.
I don't think I ever did post it because it was such a disaster.
Maybe we'll post that this week.
Okay.
Ash had this amazing vision. She had all these lemons and we had matching tank tops on. And she's like, she got her roommate to videotape. We're going to do a video. And Becky's going to be juggling and she's going to say, when life gives me lemons. And then Ash is going to jump in. make lemonade or juggle. What did we say?
Learn to juggle.
Learn to juggle. And then in the moment, we realized Ash didn't think I could really juggle.
So I thought
And
she
I
was just going to
could.
be like doing something funny, but she just straight up started juggling, and I was like, "What the?"
Talk about unclear communication. I was like, "Aren't you juggling? What?
No, I don't know how to juggle.
We'll have to
Anyway,
post that. I know we
okay.
have it.
All right, I'll try to find it. Okay, Patrick, should the Colts take a wide receiver at 42, or would they trade back for more picks? Now, here's my issue with your question, Patrick. You said, should the Colts take a wide receiver? And then the second half of your question was, will they trade or will they trade back? I don't know what they will do. I can tell you what I think they should do. And I have to confess, I get daily sports emails, like, what do they call it? Summaries, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
In my inbox.
Headlines?
Yes. And I usually read them. But the last 2 weeks I've been crazy with work, haven't read them. So I did have to go back through the last 2 weeks and be like, wait, where are we at? What's happening?
I missed them too.
Yeah. Did you? Good job. So here's my thought, Patrick. I'll try to make this brief. Nobody knows what they will do. And that's why there are like dozens and dozens of different mock drafts. I think that we have had a failing offensive line on a tackling and protective standpoint for a long time. I mean, I think about like from Luck, Rivers through Wentz, I feel like we've had to rebuild around all of them. And it just seems like we need more than just one star receiver. So I am hoping that they do not take a star receiver at 42, but they trade for other picks and we can build up an offensive line that can protect our quarterback, because I am tired of watching them get sacked over and over or just not have time to make a good play. That's where I'm at. And also, please re-sign T.Y. Hilton. Okay, those are my thoughts.
Mic drop, sports analyst in the making here.
And I say we, I don't know that I'm like I am part of the Colts team franchise, but I just,
I concur. I sponsor this message.
Yeah, great. Okay, also from Patrick, you're going to take this one. Why won't Sam Briggs just retire and stop taking other athletes' spots at the games?
When you love it, you love it. That's my thought. Sam Briggs, I mean, she's like original fire breather. And I do think that it's inspiring to people who are older. Like, yes, she's a master's athlete. It's just like how no one says, why are these teenagers coming up and doing the normal competition, CrossFit Games? Why are they not doing the age group? People applaud them and they say, oh my gosh, look at this 17-year-old competing against these games athletes. I think the same goes in reverse. Look at Sam Briggs, who is a master's athlete, who's still hanging in there competing against these games athletes.
Yeah.
So that's how I would phrase it is, how do you think about teenagers going up?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a master's athlete that's inspiring other old fart ladies like me.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, get it.
Yeah.
So that's my thought.
Yeah, I agree. If you love it, you love it. And that's what you're made. If you feel like you're made to do that, do it. But I also think it's interesting, and I'm not saying Patrick thinks this way. I'm saying as a culture, I think we tend to think this way, that across all the different sports, we have different expectations for when someone will retire and like whether or not we even want them to retire. So the concept of like, are they taking another athlete's spot? Well, if someone could beat her, then she wouldn't be taking a spot. If someone could, in the Patriots Tom Brady era, if someone could beat Tom Brady, he wouldn't have been there. Like I think we just have different expectations for when people will retire across different sports. And that's just interesting to me. Not saying Patrick thinks that way. I'm just pointing it out.
That is.
Anyway, okay, guys, we have 2 more questions. You ready, Becky?
Yep.
From Kat Tyndall.
Ooh.
Corey. Dear Corey, how would you describe your podcast dynamic, and has it changed over time? Corey with a thoughtful question.
Yeah. I would say if our dynamic has changed, it's probably just improved and only become more comfortable and quite frankly, like trusting. Like when we first started off, we're like, did you prep? I prepped. Like, are we good? So just that routine and practice, just like we talked about sports, like any sport. our dynamic, I would say, is just improved, and the trust and feeling super comfortable with like, hey, you take the lead. I haven't even looked at the outline.
Right.
Let's do it.
We haven't looked at these questions. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. What is our dynamic like? The thing that comes to my mind are two friends just having fun.
Yeah.
What about you?
And learning together.
Yeah.
I would add that. Yeah. I think casual conversation about deep topics is what I would say the dynamic is. And I think we have gotten more casual. We've gotten more comfortable together for sure, like you said. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. Thanks, Corey.
All right. And last one from Tiffany. Favorite hype song to work out to?
Oh, man. I have so many. Well, clearly I did not sing my Spanish Chimbala song very well. I swear I know those lyrics, but when put on the spot, not so much.
It's uncomfortable.
Yes. There's a song, gosh, right now, I've got so many, but I'll just say there's a song, its title is Tick, Tick, Boom. Mm-hmm. It is from a Wadapalooza playlist.
Okay.
And it gets me going. I made a playlist for the Open, which I asked Tristan to play during that deadlift burpee workout. It just got me going. It's so good. So Tick, Tick, Boom. Go look that up. What about you?
I'm a little bit of a weirdo. I'm not like an angry workout music person. I do better when I'm hyped, like, let's go, come on, let's go. So more positive things, I think, like Shipping Off to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys. I think that really gets me going.
How does that go?
Oh, it's like a screamo, but like,
okay.
Shipping off to Boston.
Okay, I'll look this up on my way to the gym.
Okay, great. I think the actual pump up songs that are not like, I'm so angry, I'm going to crush you, I'm going to crush the competition, but are like, let's get going. Here we go.
I agree with that.
Those are the things that
I don't like the mean, like angry man screamo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a special place in my heart and my workout life for 90s country. Yes. There just is. I don't know why, but it makes me happy.
Probably keeps your heart rate down.
And making me, and when I'm happy, I work out harder.
Yeah. I love it.
So.
I agree. What great questions.
Great question.
And that was like really fast. So thank you for everyone who sent those in. I think it was in less than 24 hours.
12 hours.
12 hours.
Way to go, guys.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you especially for joining us 2 years. It is crazy. We are so grateful for every person who listens, who gives us ideas, who supports us. So thank you so much. Cheers to many more years to come. And if you have future podcast ideas, you can always send that to us through Instagram or Facebook. So
absolutely.
Go do that.
Love suggestions.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Yay, 2-year anniversary.
Yay!
We'll be back next week to continue 2 years and 1 week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.